Good morning. This is Sujata, Assistant Professor of Botany, Government Degree College Women, Karimnagar. Today I am going to give a lecture on DNA replication. So, what is DNA replication? This replication is a biological process of producing two identical replicas of DNA from one original DNA molecule. That is, from one parent DNA, two daughter DNA molecules are produced. So that phenomena is called as DNA replication. So it occurs in all living organisms, that means plants and animals, because it is the most essential part of biological inheritance. So the inheritance takes place through DNA. So it is essential, that's why in all living organisms, DNA replication takes place. So the cell possesses the distinct property of cell division. It may be mitosis or meiosis. So due to the having this cell division, so replication of DNA is very essential. So before going to learn about the replication of DNA, we have to know about we have to recall the structure of DNA. So what are the components present in DNA? In DNA, nucleosides and phosphate group are present. It is a long chain of polymer. It is made up of monomeric units called nucleotides. Nucleotides means here nucleoside and phosphate group. Nucleoside means sugar plus base, that is nitrogen bases. Sugar plus nitrogen bases combinedly we call as nucleoside. So this nucleoside plus phosphate group combinedly we call as nucleotide. So nucleotide means what are components present? Sugar, that is deoxyribose sugar, and nitrogen bases. In nitrogen bases again two types, purines and pyrimidines. Purines are adenine, guanine, and pyrimidines are cytosine, thymine. So deoxyribose sugar, nitrogen bases, and phosphate group. These three combinedly we call as nucleotide. So this DNA is made up of nucleotides. So these are the components of DNA. So this is the structure of DNA which is proposed by Watson and Crick. For this structure they found, for this they got the Nobel Prize in 1962. So this DNA is a double helical structure. It has the two strands. It has the two strands. The Watson Crick, they proposed this model of DNA. It consists of the two strands. These two strands are complementary to each other. These two strands are complementary to each other. The two strands are anti-parallel to each other. So there are grooves also there. Micro grooves and some large grooves. So between these two strands are, that is, which are anti-parallel to each other, nitrogen bases are present. One purine binds with pyrimidine. Purines, pyrimidines. There is a 1:1 ratio of the purines and pyrimidines. Between these purine and pyrimidine, hydrogen bonds are present. And with the help of the hydrogen bonds, one purine and one pyrimidine, these are present between the two strands. So these nitrogen bases are form a backbone-like structure. So these nitrogen bases are present between the two strands of the DNA. So these two strands of the DNA are complementary to each other. So when we see the structure DNA, that is the arrangement of those purines, pyrimidines, and ribose, sugar, phosphate. So one strand is that is 5' to 3', and next strand is reverse 3' to 5'. 5' means here the phosphate group binds at the 5 carbon of the deoxyribose sugar. That's why we call this 5'. And next 3' means here the phosphate group attached at the place of the 3 carbon of the sugar. So that's why they call 5' to 3'. So next strand is anti-parallel. That is 3'. It starts with 3', ends with 5'. So in the middle, nitrogen bases are present. If there is one purine, that is a double ring, that is a purine, and single ring, that is pyrimidine. Compulsory, one purine is present, there must be one pyrimidine. There is a 1:1 ratio of purines and pyrimidines. These purines and pyrimidines are binds with the hydrogen bonds. Hydrogen bonds. So when we come to the replication of DNA, so already I told, the replication means it is a process by which a cell copies its DNA, the copying of DNA. So this we call also autocatalysis, one of the function of the DNA. There is a heterocatalysis also there, that is DNA indirectly participate in the synthesis of proteins, that is the heterocatalysis. And main function of the DNA is the autocatalysis, means that is it produces the daughter DNA from parent DNA. So it comes under the autocatalysis, that is we call as replication. So Delbruck is scientist. He suggested that there are theoretically 3 methods of replication of DNA, which is proposed by the Watson and Crick. So 3 methods of DNA replication are, that is, first one is the conservative method. Second one is the semi-conservative method. Third one is the dispersive method. So these are the 3 methods of the replication method proposed by the Delbruck. He suggested there are 3 methods. So first, what is conservative method? In this conservative method, 2 double helices formed, or one would be entirely of old and the other is entirely of new material. When the new DNA, that is daughter DNA, formed from the parent DNA, in that daughter DNA 2 strands are present. In that, one strand is new material, and another strand is old, that is from parent. So it having the both strands, one is from in the DNA molecule, one is new, that is in the double helices, one would be entirely old and the other entirely new material. So this method is called as the conservative method, but it did not get any acceptance. And second method of replication is semi-conservative method. So according to this model, each strand of the 2 double helices, each strands of the 2 double helices, one is new strand and other is from parent. So this type of replication, it explains properly how the characters are inherited, and this method is accepted by many scientists. That is the semi-conservative method. So in this method, the daughter DNA, which consists of the 2 strands, one strand is from parent and one is new strand. These 2 strands are complementary to each other. So this is the semi-conservative method. This method is accepted by many scientists. Third one is the dispersive method. So in this method of replication, the DNA double helix would break at several points. The DNA, that parent DNA, it breaks at several points and form the pieces. So each piece would replicate Then the pieces join at randomly. First the DNA breaks and forms the many pieces, and each piece it will get replication and they join randomly. So thus the two double helices formed would have a patchwork of old and new pieces. This method also could not explain properly the inheritance of characters. So in these three methods, the second one, semi-conservative method only, it explains how the characters are inheriting to the next generation. So this method is mostly accepted by many scientists. So first we learn about the enzymes and some proteins which are involved in DNA replication. In DNA replication, there are enzymes, some enzymes are there and some proteins also there which involve in the DNA replication. So in this DNA replication, what are the enzymes? Topoisomerases. Topoisomerases. Next, unwinding DNA helicases. Next, single strand binding proteins. Single strand binding proteins. In shortcut, we can call SSB. Next, DNA polymerase. Next, ligases. Next, nucleases. So, these enzymes are involved in DNA replication. Let us know about every enzyme. First one, topoisomerases. Topoisomerases. So these enzymes are participate in the replication by overwinding or underwinding of DNA. So when the DNA is in twisted form, always it is twisted form. The two strands are twisted. So when it is in twisted form, so this twisted known as supercoiled. It is present in supercoiled structure, the DNA. So that twisted form can be achieved if the ends of DNA are prevented from rotating. So these topoisomerases remove turns in the DNA double helix. These topoisomerases remove turns in the DNA double helix. So then the DNA twists up. The DNA twists up into helical structure. So this supercoiling may be positive supercoiling resulting from addition of turns into double helical structure, or negative supercoiling. It means negative supercoiling means a result of removal of turns from the helix. So these topoisomerases, they induce transient breaks in DNA molecule, but use covalent linkages to their sites. These topoisomerases are two types. Topoisomerase 1 and topoisomerase 2. So topoisomerase 1, it removes the supercoils from DNA one at a time. One at a time. Where the topoisomerase 2, it removes and introduces supercoils two at a time. Removes and introduce the supercoils. These both at a time it does. So this is about the topoisomerases. And the next enzymes are DNA helicases. DNA helicases. These enzymes, that is helicases, are used to unwinding of DNA molecule. is always DNA is present in twisted winding. So these are used during the replication. These helicases are used to unwind of DNA molecule. So for this, for unwinding of this DNA, they bind and they may even remodel nucleic acid DNA. So these helicases separate these during DNA replication, and DNA helicase unwind DNA at a position where they unwind the two strands at a particular position. These helicases, they unwind the DNA at a particular position. What is that position? ORI. That is origin of replication. Origin of replication. At that place, at that position, these helicases unwind the DNA. There only, at ORI position only, the synthesis will be initiated. So these DNA helicases, they continue to unwind the DNA, forming a structure called the replication fork. The main function of these helicases, it separates, it unwinds the two strands of DNA at the ORI place. So due to this separation of two strands from some extent, so there is a structure form. That structure looks like a fork-like structure which we use in our daily life, fork. So that structure we called as replication fork. Replication fork. So the process breaking the hydrogen bonds, because these helicases, they have to break. For unwinding purpose, these two strands are bound with the help of the hydrogen bonds. So when these helicases unbind the two strands, compulsory it has to break the hydrogen bonds which are present between the nitrogen bases. So for breaking of these hydrogen bonds, it needs some energy. In unwinding process, it has to break hydrogen bonds which are present between the nitrogen bases. So for this, it needs energy. It needs energy. So it takes this energy from ATP. These helicases for unwinding, for breaking of the hydrogen bonds, it takes the energy from ATP, adenosine triphosphate. Okay, so the main function of this helicases is the unwinding of the DNA molecule. Due to the unwinding of this, there is a fork-like structure formation takes place. That structure is called the replication fork. So for this function, it requires some energy. This energy it takes from the ATP. So this is the function of helicases. And next one is the SSB, single strand binding proteins. Next one is the SSB, single strand binding proteins. Okay, so these proteins bind single strand regions of DNA during the DNA replication and keep the strands separate. So once the DNA strands separate, already previous helicases are this, it unwinds the DNA strands. After the unwinding of this DNA strand by helicases, these unwinded strands, that is the single strands, now DNA got the two single strands. So these single strands must be kept in single stranded form of replication. So they are maintained in single stranded form by DNA binding proteins. So after the helicases, what is the function of the helicases? Helicases unwind the DNA two strands. So then these two strands are, single strands are, has to be separate, has to be kept like that only. So for this purpose, these single strand binding proteins, SSB proteins, these proteins, they stimulate the binding of additional moves to the DNA chain. Okay, so after the unbinding of these DNA 2 strands by the helicases, so these two single strands are maintained by single strand binding proteins. So these two strands bind at that place and they keep the two single strands separate. Keep the two single strands separate. And next one is the DNA polymerases. DNA polymerase. So DNA polymerase is the main enzyme for the replication. These enzymes are useful in the formation of the new chains in DNA, that is in new synthesis of DNA. So in prokaryotic, DNA polymerase are three types, that is DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 2 and DNA polymerase 3. These three polymerases are present in prokaryotic cells. So this first one, DNA polymerase 1. This DNA polymerase 1, it is discovered by the scientist Korenberg. So that's why this polymerase 1 is also called as Korenberg enzyme. So this enzyme function is as exonuclease. The function of this polymerase 1 is exonuclease. It separates the RNA primer from DNA and also it fills the gap. So that's why this polymerase enzyme is known as DNA repair enzyme. After the removal of the primer, in replication first primer comes and after the removal of the primer there are some gaps. So these gaps are filled by polymerase 1. So that's why this polymerase 1 is also called as repair enzyme. So this enzyme, it is discovered by Korenberg. That's why this enzyme also called as Korenberg enzyme. That is polymerase 1. So it shows the exonuclease activity and polymerizing activity also. It shows both activities. This polymerase 1 enzyme, it shows the exonuclease activity in 3 to 5 prime direction, and it shows the polymerase activity in 5 prime to 3 prime direction. And next one is the polymerase 2, DNA polymerase 2. It is some least reactive in replication process, that is polymerase 2. It also helps in DNA repairing. If there is if absence in the absence of polymerase 1, this polymerase 2 is used in the DNA repair. So it is helpful in the DNA repairing in the absence of DNA polymerase 1 and DNA polymerase 3. So next one is the DNA polymerase 3. So this DNA polymerase plays an important role in DNA replication. When we compare 1 and 2, DNA polymerase 3, it plays an important role in DNA replication. DNA replication. So the larger chains in DNA are formed by this enzyme only. So this enzyme is also known as replicase. This enzyme, that is polymerase 3, is also known as replicase. Okay, so in these three enzymes, the polymerase 3 plays an important role in the replication It is useful in the new chain synthesis. These three are present in the prokaryotic cells. And the eukaryotic DNA polymerases, in eukaryotic cells, in the replication, these DNA polymerase use. So in these eukaryotic cells, 5 different DNA polymerases are present. 5 different DNA polymerases are present. So those are DNA polymerase, that is alpha, beta, gamma, and sigma. Okay, so these are the about DNA polymerases. DNA polymerases. Next one is the ligases. Next one is the ligases. So these are the enzymes that are capable of catalyzing the reaction of joining of two large molecules. How they join the two large molecules? By establishing a new chemical bond. A new chemical bond. So it is used, these ligases are used to join together the Okazaki fragments. During the replication in one strands, some fragments formation takes place. In one strands, the DNA replication, that is the new strand synthesis, is not continuous. There are some fragment formation takes place. So these fragments are called Okazaki fragments. So these fragments are joined by the help of these ligase enzymes. So these ligase enzymes, they join the large molecules by establish new chemical bond. Next is the nucleases. The enzyme is the nucleases. So these enzymes capable of cleaving the phosphodiester bonds between nucleotides of nucleic acids. So in the nucleotides, there are the phosphodiester bonds are present between the phosphate and ribose sugar. So these enzymes are useful to break that bond. So these enzymes also play a main role in DNA repair process also, which involves in the DNA replication and also in base excision, repair, mismatch, and double strand break repair. So in this, the nucleus is also used. So now the mechanism of DNA replication. How the DNA replication takes place. How the DNA replication. How the two strands of the DNA opens. How the new strands synthesis takes place. So in this mechanism of DNA, when we see, there are the two steps are there. First one is unzipping. Unzipping or unwinding. Unwinding of two strands of DNA. Second one is the formation of new chain. First the parent DNA comes, the two strands separate, that is unwinding. Then formation of the new chain takes place. So see the image. Here DNA two strands, that is unwinding. Here the separation of the two chains of DNA is termed as unzipping, that is unwinding. Unwinding means the DNA, how it is present in twisted, in coiling. So due to the helices, these two strands are separated. These two strands are separated. So that separation of two strands is called as unzipping. So how these two strands are separated? Due to the breaking of hydrogen bonds which are present between the nitrogen bases. So this separation of two strands starts at a certain specific point. That specific point is called as origin of replication. Origin of replication. So where these strands opens, two strands separates, that place is called as origin of replication, in shortcut ORI. So in prokaryotes, that is in bacteria and blue-green algae, it occurs only one origin of replication. In prokaryotes, only one origin of replication is present. But in eukaryotes, there occur many origin of replications. That means the unbinding of DNA starts at many points simultaneously. At one time, many places, the unbinding of DNA takes place. That's why there are many origin of replications are there in eukaryotic cells. But in prokaryotic cells, only at one place, the unbinding of the DNA takes place. So that is only one origin of replication present in prokaryotic cell. So after the separation of these two strands, at that place, origin of replication. So how these are the separate due to the helicase enzyme. Due to the helicase enzyme, at the place of origin, the enzyme, which enzyme? Helicase is responsible for the unzipping. For the separation of these two strands, the helicase enzyme is helpful. So this unzipping of DNA takes place in alkaline medium. After the unwinding or unzipping, with the help of the helicase, that is the separation of two single strands. Now the SSB proteins, single strand binding proteins. SSB proteins, they play a main role to prevent the reformation of hydrogen bonds. If the hydrogen bonds reform, then what happened? The two strands come together and again they coil, they twist. So these single strand binding proteins, what they do? They prevent the reformation of hydrogen bonds between the nitrogen bases. Okay, next, so due to the helicases, these two strands separated. After this separation, the single stranded DNA binding protein comes and they prevent the reformation of the hydrogen bonds. Next, topoisomerases. These are the enzymes present at the top. C. Topoisomerases. So these topoisomerases, they release the tension arises due to the supercoil. Here at the below, these two strands are separating. Then what happened at the top? There is a tension formation takes place because here is separating. No, there is a coiling. More coiling is there at the top. So there may be tension formation takes place. So these topoisomerase, what they do? They release the tension because there is a supercoiling takes place. Because at the below, at the bottom, what happened? Two strands are separating. While the two strands are separating, at the top, supercoiling takes place. There may be tension. So that tension is decreased by these topoisomerases. Those enzymes are useful in the release of the tension, which is arises due to the supercoiling. So in prokaryotes, the DNA replication takes in a few minutes. But in eukaryotes, the DNA replication takes place in few hours. In few hours. So what is the function of here? The topoisomerase? The topoisomerase, they release the tension of the supercoiling. And what is the function of the single strand binding proteins? They keep separate the single stranded and they prevent the reformation of the hydrogen bonds. And these helicases, they use in the separation of these two strands. So now the two strands are separated. The single strand binding proteins kept the strands separate, and the topoisomerases, they release the tension, and where these two strands are open, now this picture now looks like a fork-like structure, replication fork. This structure we called as replication fork. So now these two strands are separated. Now using this single strand, both sides, now a new strand synthesis takes place. So that is the second step. That is the formation of new chain. Formation of new chain. So both sides, two single strands are present. So each single strand using as a template, a new strand synthesis takes place. So for this, to start the synthesis of new chain, a special type of RNA is required. A special type of RNA is required. So that is RNA is called as RNA primer. A fragment of RNA is required for the start of synthesis of new strand. That part, the fragment of RNA is called as what? RNA primer. RNA primer. This RNA primer is catalyzed by which enzyme? RNA polymerase. So for synthesis of new strand, first we need RNA polymerase, RNA primer. So this RNA primer, that is the small segment of RNA, is synthesized by RNA polymerase enzyme. So this synthesis of RNA primer with the help of the RNA polymerase takes place in 5' to 3' direction. So in 5' to 3' direction, the RNA primer synthesis takes place. So after the formation of new chain, the RNA primer is removed. So first RNA primer formation takes place in 5' to 3' direction. So after the RNA formation takes place, then the nucleotides comes and they attached there. So for the formation of new chain, the nucleotides are obtained from where they obtain nucleotides? From nucleoplasm. So in the nucleoplasm, these nucleotides are present in the form of triphosphates like DATP, DGTP, DCTP, DTTP. Means DATP means deoxyadenosine triphosphate. DGTP, deoxyguanine triphosphate. DCTP, deoxycytosine triphosphate. DTTP, deoxythymine triphosphate. So these triphosphates are present in the, that means nucleotides are present in the form of triphosphates. Where they present? They present in the nucleoplasm. So after the formation of the RNA primer, these nucleotides are come and they one by one they join using this DNA single strand as template. So during duplication, the two phosphate groups of all nucleotides are separated. The two phosphate groups of all nucleotides are separated. So in this process, energy yielded which is consumed in DNA replication. Okay, in DNA, in this process, the energy yielded which is consumed in DNA replication. So these are all triphosphate. But during the replication, the two phosphate groups are separated. So then some energy releases. So this energy is utilized in the DNA replication. So the energy which is utilized in the DNA replication, it does not depend on the mitochondria. The energy does not take from the mitochondria. The energy required for utilized for the DNA replication is where they get from the nucleotides, that the two phosphate groups are present. Those are in separated. The two phosphate groups of all nucleotides are separated. So when they are separated, then some energy is released. So that energy only utilized in the DNA replication. So in the replication, the energy, it is a large amount of energy is utilized. So one by one these nucleotides comes and they form a new chain. So the formation of new chain always takes place in 5' to 3' direction. So in these two strands separated, one is 5 to 3' and another one is 3 to 5'. So in the first time, that is, you look at the first strand, the new strand to the first strand, it takes place from the 5' to 3' direction. So as a result, the one chain DNA is continuously formed because it starts from the below to top, 5 to 3, that is, you see left side. So it is continuous process. So the DNA is continuously formed, and this is called as leading strand. In which strand? Which the new strand takes place in, synthesis takes place in 5 to 3 direction. So that strand is called as the leading strand. But the formation of the second chain begins from the center of, not from the terminal points. So this chain is discontinuous. So it is made up of a small segments called Okazaki fragments. The name is given in honor of scientist Okazaki. So this discontinuous chain is termed as logging strand. Logging strand. So these Okazaki fragments are later joined together and complete a new chain is formed. So in this picture, you look at one strand is, this is the parent single strands, one is 5' to 3'. So at this left side, the new strand takes place from the bottom, that is 5' to 3, from end point to towards the center. The synthesis new strands takes place. So this is continuous process. This strand is called as leading strand. You see the right one is the parent strand is the 3' to 5'. So the new strands, what is the direction of the replication? Always it is 5 to 3'. So the replication of this strand, that is new strand, takes place from the center point of the DNA. So the formation of the formation is not continuous. The formation of the new strand takes place from the center of the DNA, that is 5' to 3'. So it is not continuous process. If small fragments DNA fragments formation takes place. So these fragments are called as Okazaki fragments. After this, all fragments are they joined with help of the enzyme ligase. So this strand is called as the logging strand. Logging strand. So the formation of new chains in both sides is catalyzed by the enzyme DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase. So this is the replication mechanism in, that is the replication mechanism of DNA. So the new strands form both sides. One is leading strand, it continuously formation takes place. One is logging strand. There are the fragments formation takes place. Because why the fragments? Why we are calling this logging strand? Because the formation, the replications, the synthesis of new strands takes from the center, not from the terminal point. At the center. That's why a small pieces of DNA synthesis takes place. So that's why it is called as lagging strands. Later, these all small fragments, they joined with the help of the ligase enzyme. So this is the mechanism of the replication. Thank you.